Hi, and welcome to this week's reading. This week we are doing Choose Your Deity. We have Hekate, Odin, and Aphrodite. Each one has their own set of oracle cards and tarot cards, as well as clarifiers. And I am actually using the decks that I use with them when I work with these deities in particular. So feel free to pick which one's calling to you. Timestamps are in the description, and I'll meet you there. All right, pile number 1. You are here because you chose Hekate. I work with Hekate on Mondays. I find that she's very direct and helpful. Before we get started with these, let's go ahead and take a clarifier card or two to find out what it is about this reading that Hekate wants you to know. Oh, we've got a few. So we've got sea change. The tides are turning here. Quell. Absolve. Influence. And sedate. Interesting. It seems like there's a lot of change and shifting that's happening for you right now. This makes a lot of sense when it comes to Hekate because Hekate is the goddess of crossroads. She comes in times of transition. So she's here to help you usher in this new era of your life. And sometimes you're going to be in that transition for a minute. So we're seeing this big change and we're kind of absolving we're shoring up things from the past, we're influencing the movement of the future, and we're allowing ourselves to relax, to take some time to rest. This isn't a time when you can push things forward. This is a time when you can allow things to play out. You can put energy into making plans for the future, into working through things from the past, but you're not going to move the bigger needle in any way that's very obvious in the physical world. We have dichotomy here. So this is going through both sides of yourself. We're going through the light and the dark. We're finding balance. We're seeing both sides. We're accepting contradictions. And we have Persephone with growth. You know, we gradually accept our new life. This is a gradual process that you're in right now. But you're going to be able to be reborn through this process. You're transitioning. Hekate is also a psychopomp. She's a soul guide. She's guiding you through a threshold. And she's nurturing you in the process. And this also means that you should be nurturing yourself, nurturing your growth, nurturing your capacity to be open to change and transition and adjustment. This is a really big energetic shift for you. And it's one that might feel exhausting, but when you get to the other side, you're going to be so happy that you committed to it. We have the devil. We're letting go of old patterns. We're facing something that maybe we couldn't face before. And that's part of the transition. Something that's been kind of happening in the background. It's time to look at it directly and move away from it. To choose to resist temptation and to move away. We have the moon. This is potentially something that involves some kind of illusion. Excuse me. Apparently that's important. There was definitely some kind of illusion here that you're able to see through. We just had an eclipse season, and this is a timeless reading, but eclipse seasons are pretty consistent. So it might be that I say pretty consistent like they aren't happening on specific timelines. Chances are you're playing out something that started with the last eclipse or leading up to the next one. This is, I can't emphasize enough how big of a transition this is. And then we have the Emperor. You're moving into sovereignty in a new way. Embracing this transition, looking past the way you've done things before, looking past the illusion of the way things were before. You're going to be able to step into a new era of yourself that involves new ways of looking at yourself and the world around you. So, when we get the everything reversed, this is adversarial energy, and sometimes it's with each other, but sometimes it's with ourselves. It's vilifying parts of ourselves. So, look at the ways in which, and this one really came flying out, that you might be dealing with some trauma coming to the surface, and the ways that you're vilifying yourself for experiencing that trauma or how you handled it. This desire to vilify yourself comes from an old trauma. And so when this comes up, I want you to be very curious, and I want you to realize where you might be resisting or rejecting something that's being given to you. This part of you feels very unseen and unheard, and it feels rejected by this adversarial energy, by this energy of it being not okay, it being the problem. It exists because it has at some point needed this coping style to protect you from something, to move through the world in a certain way. There's a reason why this part of you exists, and it deserves love and compassion. And until you do that, you're going to be stuck in a loop of self-sabotage and habituation, because you're going to be stuck in one idea of who you are. It's putting yourself in a box, 555 on the clock as I say that. By admonishing, by rejecting this part of yourself, you are keeping yourself limited. It's time to release that view of yourself, of that part of yourself, and to be reborn in a way that leaves you powerful, to be reborn in a way that allows you to show up in the world in a new way, where you have a sense of security, where you act with integrity, and when you're no longer giving your power away. It can be, sometimes we can give our power away just through undue attention on something that we fear or are uncomfortable with. This is all tied to an imbalance between your head and your heart. There's something here that needs to be taken into balance, and it's not going to happen if you stay in your comfort zone. You have the ability to be very perceptive, to be very conscious of this pattern, so it's time to hold it in gentle awareness and to be compassionate with the part of yourself that's experiencing it, so that you can step into your power in a new way. This involves trusting yourself, hearing what your soul and what this part of yourself is telling you, so that you can find inner peace. Like I said at the beginning, Hekate is here because you're going through a major transition in how you experience yourself and different parts of yourself, how you hold those parts of yourself, how you nurture those parts of yourself, and how you grow through them. At the end of this tunnel, you're going to find a new sense of power, a new sense of authority in your life. But this is going to require a conscious commitment to being uncomfortable and allowing this view of yourself to end. There is no part of you that is the enemy, just a part of you that needs more love. Hecate Pile, I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment. Let me know who you chose. Let me know how this landed. Maybe it showed up for you in a specific way over the eclipse. I want to hear it. Comment. Tell me your story. And either way, I hope to see you here next week. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. You are here because you chose Odin, the All-Father. I work with Odin on Wednesdays, and it's Wednesday as I film this, so today is Woden's Day. Before we get started with these, let's take a couple clarifiers, or however many want to come out, so we can get an idea of what Odin's message for you is. Stay the course for now. Allow for the big picture to come into focus before you say or do anything. Give it time and only take action once more details come to light. Defense, AWAS. So we're cultivating patience right now, which can be a frustrating thing to hear if you are trying to get things to move in a certain way. We have rebirth with spring equinox. Things are happening. It might not feel like it, but things are moving under the surface, and you're going through a rebirth process right now that's going to bring things into harmony for you. right now is for cultivating a sense of solitude. It's really bothering me how crooked these are. So a lot of my cards are kind of folded because I use them so often. And also very music. Okay. Spend time in solitude so that you can bless your difficult experiences, you can let them go, and you can step into this energy of receiving your blessings. Justice is being upheld here. Things are happening the way they're supposed to karmically. You're on your way. You don't need to worry about it. You might feel kind of trapped right now. You might feel kind of stuck in the way that things have been, but that's illusion. We got the moon in Hekate as well. There's an illusion here of things being stuck, of you being stuck, but it's just because the things that are moving aren't directly in your view currently. You're being hyper vigilant. Maybe you're used to things not working out the way that you hoped, but you are actively in collaboration with the universe. This is a mutual relationship where things are happening, even if it doesn't feel like it. And the fact that it doesn't feel like it is probably leaving you feeling kind of listless, a little blocked, and that's okay. Be aware of how this blocked might be having you show up and engage in some addictive tendencies and some self-serving behavior because you're trying to make sure you get yours, but you're going to get yours whether or not you make it happen. It's already happening. It's already on its way. This belief that you have to do anything to receive it is coming from some repressed trauma. So you need to make sure that you're taking time to be vulnerable with yourself and to look at that the way that it is so that you can see it clearly, so you can be conscious of the pattern that's playing out in the background. Because there's two things happening here. There's this wonderful blessing that's coming your way. And then also there is this addiction to chaos and to this desire to control and force that is driving your behavior outside of this. And when we try to force and control things too much, we actually pull things out of their natural flow and we can keep ourselves from receiving our blessings. So making sure that we're not overdoing it, we're in our healthy masculine energy of pushing the needle forward, but not forcing it forward. This doesn't need to be dominated. It just needs to be done with integrity. There's a part of you that's avoiding the discomfort of not knowing what's coming. God, this could be a reading for me, and it probably is. When you see the pattern you're stuck in, when you hear and stop ignoring the pattern of this, it's going to be a lot easier to name the poison and to take your power back, because right now, being stuck in this pattern, you're keeping yourself in a box. You're keeping yourself limited to one identity. And wow, this reading is really aligning with the Hekate reading before this. It might be worth it to check that out to see if it also resonates with you. Excuse me, apparently that's important. The overall message is a little different, but so many of the cards are the same. And so like they have the same through line. It's just like a different aspect of the message. There's information, there's details that you don't have right now. And so that's why you need to wait. Oh my God, so many of the same cards. And I shuffle like crazy. So we have this, remember, we have stay the course for now. Allow the big picture to come into focus. You don't have all the details and information. It's not in focus yet. So you don't need to force, you don't need to take action. You can allow yourself to sit in this rebirth and to experience things in a meaningful way. When worrying is worshiping the problem, you're giving your power away to something by giving it undue attention out of fear. This is a time for rebirth. This is a time for renewal, to release this old pattern so that you can accept the blessings coming to you and so that you can hold on to them. You're going to see the bigger picture, but until then, you're kind of rejecting the hope and peace and bliss of this. The spiritualization is the light at the end of the tunnel. You're blocking yourself from getting to the end of the tunnel because you don't feel as though you see the big picture. When you walk, the path will appear. You are being guided down this tunnel. There's a story that you're telling yourself about what's happening that doesn't match reality. So ask yourself, what stories am I telling myself? What in my repressed trauma, what in my history is informing and feeding this story? And how can I stop this cycle, see what I couldn't see before, stop giving my power away to it, and allow myself to await the bigger picture to come into focus so that I can see the blessings that are actually ahead of me? Separate how you feel authentically from how your past experiences and trauma have conditioned you to feel about things. Be strategic, be pragmatic, nurture yourself, be compassionate, be warm with yourself, because you're burning yourself out trying to make something happen. Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's going to happen on its own. You've got this. There's nothing you have to do to get what's yours. Enjoy this rebirth. Everything's happening in harmony. Take time for rest. Take time for solitude. Let go of old patterns that prevent you from holding your blessings and trust that what's for you is on its way. There's nothing you need to do to receive it other than to be open to receive it. And the ways in which you're trying to force or control right now will prevent you from receiving it. So all you have to do is focus on being open, on being hopeful, on being connected, on being rested, and on not telling yourself stories and then buying into those stories and believing them as truth in a way that prevents you from seeing all of the beautiful magic that's ahead of you. Odin pile, I hope that this was helpful. Leave a comment. Tell me which one you picked. Tell me how it landed. Did this have something to do with what was going on in the eclipse season we just had? I can't wait to hear about it. And either way, I hope to see you next week. Bye. Aphrodite pile, welcome. I work with Aphrodite on Fridays, Venus Day. She is lovely and warm. Let's go ahead and take a clarifier card or however many want to come out to find out what it is that she has to tell you. Okay, got a few. First up, we have diving to new depths. There's a deeper meaning to what's happening. You might be looking at this from the surface and missing what's really going on. Take a moment to pause and breathe. Allow yourself to dive deeper into what it is you're feeling about your current situation. Single-mindedness, choose your own path and what's best suited for you. And convey your meaning. Reflect on the way you communicate with others and with yourself. Be sure to express your thoughts and feelings from your heart and with respect and sincerity. So there's something going on that's happening at a much deeper level than maybe you've picked up on. This is something that is maybe bringing up a lot of feelings for you. And it's important that as the feelings come up, not only do you move ahead in the direction that's right for you, not the direction others might want for you, but also make sure that as you're doing so, that you're communicating it in a way that's respectful, sincere, and honest with both others and yourself. Let's do these first. We have justice. Things are happening the way that they're meant to happen. We have strength. We're connecting to something much deeper. This is your true desires, the being willing to look at your real urges, your real emotions, your real desires, and face them and be honest with yourself about what they are. It seems as though maybe you've been living a life that others want for you, or you've been making choices based on what others might want for you, and it's time to change how you approach things. This is the death of an old pattern. The natural justice of karma will win out here. We have psychic healing, mugwort. Yeah, this is a major shift. I'm kind of surprised we didn't get the Ace of Swords here. I feel like this is a major shift in the way that you operate both with yourself and with the world. Revival. You're reviving something here, reviving an old way of being, an old confidence. Maybe the way that you viewed the world before you put yourself into a box or felt trapped in a certain identity. We have acceptance here. We're accepting that the way that other people, even the most well-meaning people, the way they want us to do things or the way things are moving, is maybe not actually what's right for us. And rosemary with ancient memory. This is something you've handled before. This is something you've experienced before. And deep inside, you know how to handle it. There's an ability here to see the bigger picture because of what you've experienced in the past. Now, your discomfort with this, I think you might feel like by doing what you want to do, you're being self-serving. But I want you to separate how you really feel from what you've been conditioned to believe. Because if you've been conditioned to believe that if you don't live the life others want for you, that you're selfish, then of course you're going to feel that way. Be really warm and nurturing and compassionate with yourself and the parts of yourself that want to please and help and do things the way that other people want. Because the process of trying to people please in these situations has been burning you out, and it's time for it to end. It's time for it to die. Trust yourself. Hear what your soul's telling you and trust that you are the expert in your own experience. You know what's best for you, and you can be that person. But it requires you to be very vulnerable with yourself about what it is that you truly want, what it is that you see for your life, even if it doesn't match what others see for you. Your desire to please other people has left you a little stagnant, and it's also kind of neglecting yourself. And when we live a life that we don't actually want to live, we tend to dissociate quite a bit. I often think that my biggest times of depression are coming from living a life that someone else wants for me and not moving in the direction that I feel in my soul it's time for me to go in. Relationships that require you to be a certain way or to show up a certain way are relationships that are conditional and transactional. Truly unconditional relationships don't require you to do or be anything other than exactly who you are. And you need to remember that in the context of this reading. When you find balance, when you align your inner and outer worlds without others' input, you're going to live a life that you're proud of. You need to make sure that you aren't afraid of your own power. Be so nuanced, be so rooted in yourself that no one's opinion of the way you live your life will matter to you. Be strategic and communicate it well. Make sure that you're not, tactless about it. But you have every right to lose your baggage. You have every right to accept that the life that you want might contradict what others want for you. And you have every right to live the way that you want to live. That's your freedom. That's your power. That's your spiritual gift of sovereignty and authority in your own life. You might be avoiding the discomfort of telling others that you don't want what they want for you, but it's time that you see the parts of you that are being ignored or unseen because you're prioritizing others' opinions. That will allow you to see more clearly. It'll allow you to see the bigger picture. We have seen the bigger picture here twice. There might be some repressed trauma that this desire to please is tied up in. But this is a time of hope, peace, and bliss. You get to create a life with security and integrity. You get to transmute the negativity of trying to people please. That's apparently important. And as you bring your inner world into your outer world, things are going to balance. Things will become even. It's important that you maintain your boundaries here and that you protect yourself and your desires for your life. Make sure that you aren't, being self-indulgent in a way like sometimes when we get access to something we've never had access before, we can kind of go a little wild with it. So just be mindful of moving in the direction that's right for you without burning yourself out. Make sure that you're in the present moment. Any time that you get too stuck in the past or in the future, you're going to block your own expansion. So being in the present moment, being in flow here is very important. You are entering a new era of your life, and this era is creative. It's flow. There's so much possibility. There's so much sovereignty and authority and standing in your power. You are naming the issue and you're taking your power back. It's your time, baby. You got this. I'm so proud of you for the work you've had to do to get to this point. So listen to yourself, trust yourself, and know that anyone who genuinely has a problem with you living the life you want to live isn't a reciprocal, mutual, unconditional relationship. It is a transactional, conditional one. And you deserve someone who loves you no matter what. Aphrodite group, this is your reading. I hope that this was helpful. I hope it landed. Leave a comment. Let me know. Tell me a story. And I hope to see you next week.